I never thought I'd share this with anyone, but how do you explain letting a married man hold your waist while his wife was upstairs? I'm in their kitchen, the warm glow of pendant lights casting shadows, when Mark's hands find my waist, his grip firm yet gentle. My heart lurches, guilt flooding me as the floorboards creak above Clara, his wife moving in their bedroom. The air smells of roasted garlic from dinner, but all I feel is the heat of his touch, raw and electric. I'm frozen, my empathetic nature clashing with the panic screaming to pull away. I'm 27, a graphic designer who started working with Mark's small firm 6 months ago. He's charming, quick with a laugh, the kind of boss who makes you feel seen. Clara's the opposite kind, steady, the one who brings homemade cookies to the office. I've always been the listener, the one who cares too much, but naive enough to think I could handle their dinner invitation. It was supposed to be casual, coworkers, friends, nothing more. But now with Mark's hands on me, the stakes are clear. My integrity, my reputation, their marriage. The dinner was warm, Clara's laughter filling the room as she shared stories about their kids. I helped with dishes, feeling at home until she went upstairs to check on their youngest. Mark and I were alone clearing plates, when he stepped close, his voice low. "You're a lifesaver tonight," he said, smiling. I laughed, brushing it off, but then his hands were there pulling me in. The creak of the floorboards snaps me back, a sensory jolt. Clara's footsteps are soft, oblivious, and I'm betraying her kindness with every second I don't move. I want to believe this is nothing, that I misread his intent, but my gut knows better. My best friend Tara warned me about Mark last month. He's too smooth, watch out. I ignored her, thinking I was above this, but now I'm here, caught in a moment I never planned. My empathy, my need to connect, has led me to a line I swore I'd never cross. The kitchen's too warm, the garlic scent cloying, and I'm torn between shoving him away and pretending this isn't happening. As his fingers linger, one question burns. Will I stop this before it's too late? The kitchen's still warm, the faint hum of the dishwasher, a steady pulse against my racing heart. Mark's hands are gone from my waist, but the ghost of his touch lingers, burning through my sweater. I step back, gripping the edge of the counter, the cool granite grounding me as I try to catch my breath. Clara's footsteps have faded upstairs, but her presence looms a silent judge in this moment. Mark's leaning against the island, his charming smile unfazed, like nothing happened. "You're too good for this place," he says, his voice low, playful. "You're too good for this place" could clip perfectly for a viral moment, dripping with the tension I feel. But inside, I'm spiraling, my empathetic nature, clashing with a rising tide of guilt. I force a laugh, shaky and thin, just doing dishes. I say, turning to the sink, but my hands tremble as I rinse a plate. My internal conflict is a storm. Part of me is flattered, drawn to his attention, while the other part screams that this is wrong, that Clara's kindness deserves better. I've always been the one who listens, who cares too much, but now that empathy's tangled me in something dangerous, the stakes are suffocating my integrity, my job, their marriage. One wrong move, and it all crumbles. Mark steps closer, his cologne sharp, and I tense. "You okay?" he asks, his tone casual but probing. I nod, avoiding his eyes, but my mind's racing. Tara's warning from last month echoes. He's too smooth. She's fierce, always calling out what I miss, and I brushed her off, thinking I could handle a friendly dinner. Now I'm questioning everything. Did I invite this? My smiles, my laughter at his jokes, did they signal something I didn't mean? The attraction is there, a flicker. I hate admitting, but it's drowned by the weight of Clara's trust. Her cookies, her warm hug when I arrived. The dishwasher hums louder, a sensory anchor pulling me back. I think about that first moment, the creak of floorboards when Mark's hands found me, how I froze instead of running. Now he's talking about work, acting normal, but his eyes keep drifting to me, testing. I want to believe I can shut this down. Keep it professional, but my naive side is crumbling. Temptation versus conscience, desire versus duty. I'm caught, and every second I stay in this kitchen feels like a step toward a line I can't uncross. I dry my hands, the towel rough against my skin, and turn to him. I should check on Clara. I say, my voice firmer than I feel. He shrugs, but his smile doesn't fade, and it chills me. My heart's pounding as I move toward the stairs, but the question claws at me. Am I falling for him, or is this just a trap? I walked into the living room, softer than the kitchen, the glow of a table lamp warming the space as I settle on the couch, a glass of wine in hand. The clink of glasses as Mark pours another round is a sharp sensory anchor pulling me into the moment. Clara's back downstairs, her laughter bright as she talks about their daughter's school play, oblivious to what happened minutes ago. Mark's across from me, his charm dialed up, tossing playful jabs about my design work. I laugh, but it's forced, my nerves fraying. His wife's right here, yet his eyes keep finding mine, lingering too long. My empathetic nature, the part that wants to keep things light, is drowning in fear. What if she notices Clara's kindness radiates? She's steady, the one who remembers everyone's coffee order, and her warmth makes my guilt sharper. You're so good with colors, she says, smiling at me. You should see her sketches. Mark adds, his tone teasing, but pointed. I shift the couch's leather creaking under me, and sip my wine, the tartness biting my tongue. The moment feels suspenseful, like a tightrope I'm barely balancing on. I try to pivot, joking about my cat's obsession with knocking over plants, and Clara giggles, easing the tension. For a second it's normal, a tonal shift that lets me breathe. But Mark's not letting it go. He leans forward, elbows on his knees, and says, you bring life to everything. It's subtle, a compliment that sounds innocent, but his gaze makes it heavy. Clara nods, unaware, but my stomach twists. The clink of glasses from earlier, when his hands were on my waist, echoes in my mind, a callback to that forbidden moment. My naive side wants to believe this is just friendly banter, but my gut screams danger. He's flirting, testing boundaries, and I'm complicit every time I don't shut it down. The stakes are clearer now. Clara's trust, my self-respect, their family. I glance at the stairs, half expecting their kids to wake to break this moment. Clara's talking about vacation plans. Her voice is steady hum, but I'm barely listening. My heart's racing, torn between fleeing and staying, to prove I'm not that person. Tara's fierce warning. He's too smooth rings louder. She dragged me out of here, no questions asked. But I'm still here, caught in Mark's charm, in my own need to be liked. The wine glass is cool in my hand, but it's not enough to steady me. I'm walking a line, and every laugh, every glance pulls me closer to a fall. As Clara excuses herself to check on the kids, Mark's smile shifts, more intimate. You're fun, he says, his voice low. I force a nod, my throat tight. The lamp's glow feels too warm, the room too small. What happens if Clara comes back and sees this? What if she senses the truth in his eyes? One question burns. What if she comes downstairs, and everything unravels? I'm outside their house now, the cool night air hitting my face as I lean against my car, the metal cold through my jacket. The muffled hum of their TV leaks through the window, a faint reminder of the warmth I just left. My hands are shaking, my wine glass, abandoned on their coffee table. After Mark's, "You're fun," pushed me to my limit. I mumbled an excuse about a headache, and bolted Clara's kind. Feel better trailing me out the door. But it's not a headache, it's guilt-crushing and relentless. I'm not that person. I tell myself the words a desperate mantra. I'm not that person could go viral raw, with the shame I'm drowning in. My empathetic nature, the part that wanted to connect, has led me to betray Clara's trust, and the weight is unbearable. Inside Mark's hands on my waist, his lingering glances replay in my mind, each moment a stab. The clink of glasses in the living room, when he poured that wine, echoes like a warning I ignored. I was naive, thinking I could handle his charm, but every smile I returned, every laugh, built this trap. Clara's upstairs now, probably tucking in their kids. Her steady kindness. A contrast to Mark's reckless intensity. I picture her cookies, her hug when I arrived, and my stomach churns. How could I let this happen under her roof? The stakes are suffocating my integrity, their marriage, my own self-respect. I unlock my car, the keys jingle. A sharp sensory anchor, but I don't get in. I need to process this to understand how I got here. Tara's warning about Mark. He's too smooth, was spot on, and I ignored it, thinking I was above temptation. Now I'm questioning everything. Did I lead him on? My friendliness. My need to be liked. Did it invite this? The vulnerability spills out, as I admit I liked his attention just for a moment, before guilt swallowed it. That's the worst part. I wasn't just a victim. I played a role. My phone buzzes, Tara's name on the screen. "You okay?" her text reads. I want to call to confess, but the words stick. She's fierce, the one who'd tell me to cut Mark off, but I'm not ready to face her judgment. I need to face myself first. Comment below. What's the biggest regret you've carried? I need to know I'm not alone. The night's quiet, the streetlights casting long shadows, and I'm torn between running from this and confronting it. Clara's trust. Mark's betrayal, my own weakness, they're all tangled. As I stare at their house, one question burns. How do I face Clara after letting this happen? The office is a blur of fluorescent lights and keyboard clicks, but I'm barely present, my coffee cold on my desk. It's Monday. 2 days since I fled Mark and Clara's house, and the guilt is a vice around my chest. I keep seeing Mark's hands on my waist, hearing Clara's kind. Feel better as I left. My empathetic nature, the part that wanted to connect, has left me raw, questioning who I am. My internal conflict is relentless. Part of me wants to pretend this never happened, but another knows I have to face my role in this betrayal. The stakes are crushing my self-respect. Clara's trust, my job. I'm avoiding Mark, but he's everywhere. His laugh down the hall, his name on emails. I'm replaying that night. The clink of wine glass is a haunting callback to when I let his charm pull me in. I was naive, thinking I could stay professional, but I crossed a line by not stopping him sooner. Tara's text from Saturday sits unanswered. Her fierce, "You okay?" demands honesty. I'm not ready for. She'd tell me to confront this, to own it, but admitting I liked his attention, even briefly, feels like admitting I'm someone I don't want to be. The emotional moment hits, as I slip into the break room, the rustle of leaves outside the window grounding me. I'm alone staring at the coffee machine, when Clara's kindness floods back, her cookies, her stories about her kids. I betrayed that not just by standing there when Mark touched me, but by letting the moment linger. I'm sorry, I whisper the words, slipping out a plea to her, to myself. My hands grip the counter, the cool metal steadying me, but the truth is brutal. I'm not just a victim of his actions. I'm complicit in my silence. My phone buzzes, a meeting reminder with Mark and the team. My stomach drops. Facing him means facing what I allowed, what I felt. I think about Tara, how she'd push me to be brave, but bravery feels impossible when I'm drowning in shame. The office hums around me, oblivious. But this choice, confront or hide, will shape who I become. If I stay silent, I'm letting Mark control this narrative, letting my guilt define me. But speaking up risks everything: my job, Clara's pain, my own heart. I want to be the woman who stands for what's right, but right now I'm just scared. The leaves outside keep rustling, a soft rhythm against my racing thoughts. I need to make this right for Clara, for myself, but how? The weight of my moral failure is heavy, but admitting it is the first step. As I head to the meeting, Mark's voice already echoing from the conference room, one question burns. Can I forgive myself for this, or will this moment haunt me forever? The conference room is stifling, the hum of the air conditioner, a faint anchor as I sit across from Mark. His charm dialed up for the team. Papers shuffle, voices overlap, but all I feel is the weight of his glance, subtle but deliberate, like a secret we're both keeping. It's been hours since my break room reckoning, and my internal conflict is afire. Part of me wants to call him out to end this, but another fears the fallout. Clara's trust, my job, my self-respect are on the line, and the stakes feel like they're closing in. The rustle of my notebook pages under my fingers grounds me, but barely. Mark's presenting, his voice smooth, but he pauses to nod at me. Great work on the mock-ups, he says, his tone professional, yet laced with something more. My skin crawls. I thought you were different, I mutter under my breath, a shareable line roar with betrayal. No one hears, but it's a spark of defiance. Clara's kindness, her cookies, her hug, haunts me. A callback to the dinner where this began. I let her down, and Mark's casual confidence makes it worse. He's acting like nothing happened, like his hands on my waist were a dream. After the meeting, he lingers, offering to review my designs. You're killing it, he says, his smile too warm. I nod, my throat tight, and escape to my desk, but the tension follows. Tara's unanswered text burns in my pocket. She'd tell me to confront him, her fierce voice cutting through my hesitation. But confrontation means risking Clara finding out, means exposing my role. The office buzzes around me, oblivious, but whispers are starting. A coworker's. You're close with Mark, ha, at lunch, hit like a jab, and I'm terrified the truth is seeping out. My phone buzzes, a photo from Clara, her kids grinning at the park. Missed you this weekend, she writes, her warmth slicing me open. I'm betraying her every second I stay silent, but speaking up could shatter her world. My naive belief that I could handle Mark's charm has crumbled, and now I'm navigating a minefield. If Clara learns the truth, I lose her trust, maybe my job. If I confront Mark, he could spin it, make me the villain. The notebook's pages rustle again, a sensory reminder of the work I'm barely doing. My empathetic nature wants to protect Clara, but my fear keeps me frozen. As the day ends, Mark passes my desk, his hand brushing my chair too close. See you tomorrow, he says, his eyes lingering. My heart races, anger mixing with dread. I can't keep dodging this, it's unraveling me, unraveling everything. The office empties, the hum of the AC fading, but one question burns. Will Clara find out, or can I stop this before it destroys us all? The office parking lot is quiet, the late afternoon sun casting long shadows across the asphalt. I'm waiting by Mark's car, my arms cross the rough texture of my jacket sleeve, a grounding anchor. Yesterday's close call, his hand on my chair, his lingering glance pushed me past fear into resolve. My vulnerability, the guilt that's been choking me since his hands touched my waist, is now fuel. I'm done letting this fester. Clara's trust, my integrity, our workplace, they're all on the line, and I'm choosing honesty over shame. The stakes are raw, but I'm ready to reclaim my voice. Mark steps out, his charming smile, faltering when he sees me. "What's up?" he asks, his tone light but wary. I take a breath, the air sharp with the scent of exhaust. "We need to talk about that night," I say, my voice steady despite my pounding heart. "You crossed a line and it stops now." The words are a key emotional moment, a release of the weight I've carried since the kitchen. His eyes narrow, but I push on. I'm not okay with what happened, and I won't let it happen again. Clara's kindness, her cookies, her warm hug, echoes a callback, driving my resolve. Mark shifts, leaning against his car. "It was just a moment," he says, his voice low, dismissive. "No need to make it a thing." His deflection stings, but I'm not backing down. "It is a thing," I snap. Clara deserves better. I deserve better. My empathetic nature, the part that's always cared too much, is now my strength, channeling my guilt into clarity. Tara's fierce advice. Cut him off rings in my ears, giving me courage. Mark's charm, once disarming, looks flimsy, now a mask I can see through. He shrugs, but his jaw tightens. "Fine, I hear you," he says, climbing into his car. It's not an apology, but it's enough for now, a line drawn. I walk away, my pulse racing, feeling lighter, but not free. Later, I call Tara, spilling everything. "You did the hard thing," she says, her voice warm with pride. Her support, like Clara's kindness, anchors me. Confronting Mark doesn't erase my role or the whispers at work, but it's a start. I'm rebuilding my self-respect, one honest step at a time. Back home, my apartment's quiet, the hum of the fridge soothing. I'm not the naive woman who walked into that dinner, nor the one who froze when Mark touched me. I'm learning to set boundaries, to value my integrity over fleeting temptation. The emotional weight of this choice, choosing right over easy, has shifted something in me. As the sun dips below the horizon, one question lingers. Can I rebuild my self-respect and keep Clara's trust intact? The soft clink of my teacup against the saucer fills my apartment, a gentle anchor as I sit by the window. The city's evening hum drifting through the glass. It's been a month since I confronted Mark in the parking lot, and the weight of that night, his hands on my waist, Clara's footsteps upstairs, has settled into a quieter ache. The theme of boundaries woven through this story has become my compass. Growth comes from facing the truth even when it hurts. My heart's steadier now, but the stakes, my integrity, Clara's trust, my self-respect, still shape every reflection. I sip my tea, the warmth spreading through me, a sensory echo of the roasted garlic from that dinner. Work's calmer, Mark keeps his distance, his charm dimmed by my clarity. I've stayed friendly with Clara, joining her for coffee last week, her kindness unchanged. Her laughter, her stories about her kids felt like a gift I don't deserve, but I'm trying to earn it by being better. My empathetic nature thrives in her warmth, while my newfound resolve keeps my boundaries firm. I haven't told her about Mark, not yet. That's a bridge I'm not ready to cross, but I'm carrying the truth lighter. Tara's been my anchor mid-journey, her fierce support unwavering. You're stronger than you think, she told me yesterday, her words a callback to her warning about Mark's smoothness. Her belief in me, like Clara's trust, pushed me to choose integrity over shame. I've learned that boundaries aren't just about saying no, they're about saying yes to who I want to be. That night could have defined me as the woman who betrayed a friend, but instead it's shaped me into someone who values honesty, even when it's hard. I'm sharing this because we all face moments that test us. What's a line you've drawn to protect your values? Comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Guilt's heavy, but growth is heavier, and it's worth it. I'm still navigating this, still the designer who cares too much, still learning to balance empathy with strength. The city lights twinkle outside, and I lean back at peace. Some scars fade, but the lessons they leave shine forever.